may have to jump off just before 10. I got another thing I got to take care of.
Get your message. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so we'll call a meeting to order. And it's 9:02. And first order of business would be the approval of minutes. And I haven't got those yet, but perhaps Irie fill us in a little bit.
Yeah, actually, Katie, if you can allow me to share, I can hold them up on the screen. Right now, I'm disabled from sharing. Now I'm able to share. Thank you. All right, so can you see the minutes now?
Yep.
Yes.
Good. All right, so of course, they're labeled draft. I won't read them all for you, but we last met on the 13th of October. We did a quick update on practice putting and cages. We did an update courtesy of Sam actually, of the September data for rounds played and so forth, and courtesy of Lynn McKay of the Women's League seasons activity. We did some discussion of plans regarding paving and irrigation. Again, I'm not reading the details.
Mm-hmm.
We have a statement of revenue from the prior month, and that is actually noted up in section 4. That was on the agenda. That's why it's an item there. We deferred discussion on the management contract to this meeting. And the other stuff that came up was from the public. We talked further about the fencing with Erin Cox, the person who had written to the Board of Selectmen present. And we ended up taking a vote to recommend fencing the same height to fill in 2 of the gaps of the 3 that I had identified. And we adjourned. That's the minutes.
That works.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the minutes as reviewed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. All right.
Okay. So
I will send them out to you guys along with when I send them out to the town, which will be later today.
great. First thing I want to bring to your attention, which I just received last night, so I haven't had a chance to get it out to everybody. But in terms of rounds played and revenue, in October they had 2,109 rounds played, and the revenue was $50,959. So through October, that brings a total of 18,911 rounds, and the revenue was $488,926, which is well ahead of 2020. And just as a comparison, on the spreadsheet that was given to me last night, if you look at a few years ago, like for instance, in 2018, the total rounds through November were 9,675 as opposed to current 18,911. It's almost doubled over that period. And the revenue, which in 2018 was 198,107, is, as I said, now 488,926. So it's just a tremendous increase. And going to the contract that we had, we get 10% of the monthly gross. And in 2020, the way that was set up was we got 10% of the gross in excess of $200,000, but it was changed back to 10% of the gross monthly total with no so that's a positive figure for the town. It also puts us in a position that we have the funds to make certain improvements, and the first of which should be what we've recommended to the town of installing the fence/netting as has been recommended. So I'll find out what the next step is. If that has to go out on a bid basis, I believe, unless the town is equipped to do it through their engineering department. Any thoughts on that?
Fine by me, and I appreciate the information. Dave, I wasn't able to write down the numbers you just called out. Can you just send them to me so I can get them in the minutes?
I will.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm fine by me as well.
Okay. So I'll get both of those up to you. As I said, I only received the figures last night. Haven't had a chance to other than reading them to you now, to do anything with them. Some additional information was that they had a statement of revenue given to us for October 2021. And what that shows, the breakdown on that is that of the $50,959 that was collected in October, $39,143 was for greens fees, $99.57 on cat rentals, $11.69 for food and beverage, and $690 for pro shop sales. So as I said, the comparison against previous years is extremely positive overall. Which brings me to another matter, and I'd like to have your thoughts on that. Currently, we have a license to serve beer. I believe it's beer and wine, but that isn't being done.
That's not true.
No?
I have seen it done. I physically witnessed it being done a month and a half ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm wrong on that, but is it your sense that that's being encouraged or pushed at all?
I think the answer to that is no, and I based that on a conversation I had with the superintendent on that same day, and he indicated that his opinion was that that's not why the golf course is there, to, become a social or dining venue, that it's principally about golf. So that was one person's opinion, a person who holds a role. But it was a result of my expressing surprise that indeed there was beer available and being consumed. So we had a little chat about that, and that was what he told me. So no, I think the answer to your question is no, it is not being promoted.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying that we should be promoting drinking per se, but it seems like it would be a way of I wouldn't say promoting it, but encouraging people to stay around, for a little bit after they play, which would be another source of income, so to speak, and maybe even expand what might be available for food supplements.
I think it would do more than bring them to stay after. I think it would do more to actually have them show up in the first place. Because if they're looking at it and they're like, well, we can go to Westboro or we can just go here, and then somebody would probably say, well, we can't get anything to eat or drink thereafter, so let's just go to Westbrook. So it might deter people even from showing up in the first place.
Yeah, I have that sense because, I mean, other than the athletic aspect of golf, it's also a social activity. And it's sort of like the two go hand in hand. You get through with a round, you foursome or some other foursome, or even if it's league play, you have people that like to sit around, discuss their rounds, have a cold beer or a snack, something like that. And it just adds to the overall enjoyment of the day.
So let me ask, I have no real opinion on this, but are you bringing this up with a view towards making a recommendation to the operator or putting something in the contract, or what would you like to, because we've spoken about this before. I'm curious about what you want the outcome to be.
I would say it would be a recommendation to the operator. It doesn't have to be in the contract, but I think as a recommendation, what do you think on it, Jay?
I think that we should recommend it. I mean, it can't hurt. It's only gonna increase the golf rounds and increase everything else, and people will want to show up there now. I mean, they didn't build the big deck if they did, if you didn't want to have drinks and snacks and socializing after, then why spend the money building that deck on the back?
Right. I mean, they have the seating.
Yeah.
And it's not the type of thing where people are going to be staying there if they play in the morning, they're not going to stay there after.
Right. And they're not going to literally play around, go outside and sit on the deck and have nothing to drink and nothing to eat. They're just going to get in their car and drive home.
Exactly. So I think that we'll make that, unless anybody thinks differently, we'll make that recommendation to the operators.
Let's make it formal. I move that we make a recommendation to the operator to promote the consumption of food and drink at the course.
I'll second that.
Yep. I agree.
Okay. Which brings me to another thing. Has everybody had a chance to review the contract?
I have, and if you want, I can pull it up on the screen.
Okay.
So that if you want to cruise to any particular.
Well, there was one specific thing that kind of caught my eye, and that's in Article 7.3.
Let me see if I can find the window where I have Zoom. I'm accustomed to using more than one screen. This is a challenge for me. Smaller so that I can see that. There we go. All right, the contract should be there. In what section did you say?
7.3, Article 7.3.
Skip through the whole thing. Sorry, I know I'm making.
That's okay.
I'm happy as I scroll, but there we go. There's Article 7 and its pieces.
Okay, so what it specifically says is the operator agrees to establish and administer in conjunction with the town a marketing plan for St. Mark's. The policy and the plan shall be developed, and this was part of the original thing on the date, and shall be reviewed annually by the town and the operator. The operator agrees to establish an ongoing seasonal advertising campaign to promote and attract new customers and to maintain the golf club website. And I guess my question is, what do we know specifically what they do for a seasonal advertising campaign?
I've never seen anything.
I
Nothing
haven't.
bring it up.
And I'm not aware of it either. And just as a side note, relative to the website specifically, as I think we've discussed before, the website has a picture that wasn't taken at our golf course.
Right.
And I was actually there 2 weekends ago, and I walked up to look at the new practice green. I didn't stand on the green, but nearby, and there's a beautiful photographic vista from that point.
Actually,
An opportunity to take some very compelling pictures of our course and use them on the website right there. And I mentioned that to the guy who happened to be on duty that day.
yeah,
The operator per se.
I know when I was meeting with the contractors and a management company up there, that when you look out over the first hole past the clubhouse, that view from up there is very photogenic.
And so we all agree that section 7.3, to our knowledge, has not seen any activity. No. I mean, there is a website and it is up, but
I'm not aware of any specific advertising campaigns. And, you know, as we talk about the addition of league play and individual play and enticing younger players to attend clinics and everything, it just seems like somehow this is being passed by, or if there is something going on. So if everybody agrees, I think that's something that we ought to make mention of.
The only thing I can think of that they have is a sign. I mean, that's obviously not seasonal advertising, but there's a sign that says Southborough Golf next right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they mean by advertising, but
no, I think that's directions. Let them know that.
Yeah.
So is that pretty much your feelings, everyone, that you know, there isn't any activity going on specifically per that?
I haven't seen anything.
well, the one thing that I have seen, to be fair, was, and it wasn't advertising per se, but the operator supported recently, I don't know, 3-4 weekends ago, an ALS. It was, I want to say Columbus Day weekend, an ALS charity event in which they donated half the greens fee, or half their take of the greens fees, towards a foundation. And that was advertised. I forget precisely where I saw it, but it was advertised, and I don't know if they were the advertiser or not. But they certainly were participating in the promotion.
Right. Well, I think, you know, I'm not saying that they haven't done anything, but I'm just not aware of anything. And I guess, Jay, you're not.
Nope.
And I just, I question whether they need to be nudged a little bit in that regard by the town. So I do think that we ought to bring that up and say Mark, who specifically is working on the new contract, that we should bring it to his attention, have him mention something to them relative to that specific article.
So I sense, without taking a vote, I sense unanimity on that. That's fine. I'll put it in the notes, another recommendation. May I ask, in reviewing the contract, did anybody see anything that we want to recommend to the town that they change about the contract? I did not.
I did not.
Nope, same.
So, I mean, I think the basic contract as it stands that they have put forth doesn't need any additional tweaking in that regard.
That's great. So let me make let me formalize motions. Motion number one, supporting what Dave was suggesting before, that we recommend to the town that they probably in what the contract calls for, a December update on the marketing campaign, that they recommend a more active and aggressive marketing campaign, since there's supposed to be an annual review in December. That's timely.
Right. I'll second that.
Yep. I agree.
Aye. And then the second motion, maybe subject to more discussion yet, is that this committee recommend to the town that the upcoming contract, since this one has just about run its course in terms of renewals, that the town seek a contract that is in its material contents substantially the same as the current one.
I'd second that also. Yeah, I'd second that.
Leaving room for discussion, if that's uncomfortable, because that's sort of our main piece of business here.
It is, and you know, I think for all practical purposes, my own opinion is, I think that they've done a good job in terms of managing the facility. I think they also have derived a great benefit this year because of the weather conditions, in terms of getting people to play, because it's so much more enjoyable when it's green and lush and filled in nicely. So, which will end up bringing us to another discussion on the irrigation.
Right. Is there any reason not to go forward with the motion on the contract itself?
Not for me.
Okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd say that's unanimous.
Okay. Just a comment. I'm just thinking, as you mentioned that, Dave, yes, the weather and COVID and all of that has helped with conditions and golf rounds sort of in general beyond this course. I have to say I'm really, really pleasantly surprised that the course has seen as much activity as it has, even though it fundamentally lost yards on holes number 1 and 9. And, you know, at least when I originally saw what was going on with the public safety building construction, thought, this is not going to be as much fun to play anymore. But I think somebody needs to be commended for making the course still attractive from a playing standpoint. Both holes 1 and 9 still work. They work differently from the way they used to. But in my opinion, they're still viable golf holes.
I think, again, when I take a look at the rounds, you know, played in October, the breakdown they have on it is that 610 weekday 9-hole rounds. And then they have 9 holes that are a combination of senior and junior, which I would imagine is much more senior, of 649 rounds. season pass is only 46, which makes me kind of wonder if that category being properly incentivized somehow. There were no league play in October. 0 rounds of league play. On the weekend, the regular 9-hole play was 460 rounds. 9-hole category they use is senior/junior was 329. And a total of twice league 0. So I mean, there's some very encouraging signs in terms of rounds played, certainly, but it seems like I can't understand why there was no league play at all in October.
Well, usually leagues end mid-September. Every league I've ever played in was always
Really?
done before October.
Okay.
Yeah. So is there a way to do like a promotional thing? Like Juniper, obviously they have 2 18-hole courses, but forever they've done kids under 18 play free on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically got my kids started playing golf there because I didn't have to get them out there and drop, $140 per round every time I would take them out.
Yeah, I think that there's some tweaking that can be done in terms of promoting the course, and I think that maybe what we need to do is sit down with the operator and see exactly what their thoughts are in terms of promotional and what our thoughts might be, and then come up with some sort of a plan going forward into the 2022 season. So, what do you think, Jay?
I think we need to do something. We just can't sit around and just hope that this guy's gonna do advertising, or we just need to do something. The course just sits there.
Well, I mean,
outside of Southborough, nobody probably even knows it exists.
No, I think you're right, and
so advertising at the dump isn't going to make a difference because people in town already know it's there.
Exactly.
So it needs to be advertised Hopkinton, Ashland, because it's not a destination. There's no drinking. It's a 9-hole course. It's not in great shape. It's a dirt track. So it needs to be Ashland, Hopkinton, Framingham, like all of the surroundings, because we've already lost one golf course in Southborough, which was the one up by the old airport.
Yeah.
The little executive course where people used to love to go because they could just literally bring a 7-iron and a putter and a wedge and be done.
Exactly.
And it was great for kids to learn on. And it didn't take much time. And with that gone, and as an opportunity for us, Millwood and Framingham closed down. I mean, Millwood was great. It was 14 holes right off of Millwood. Did you ever play there, Dave?
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, my first home was right around the corner from there.
Yeah. So I grew up in Framingham, so I grew up playing Millwood. So it's like Millwood's gone. That's basically a 9-hole course. It's 14, but it's gone. The executive course in Southborough's gone. There's nothing else like Southborough around unless you go to Westborough 9-hole course, and that's like a real course though. Like that course is beautiful inside and out. They got the Civic. It's just they do an unbelievable job. We can't compete with Westborough, but there's nothing else around these other towns for people to just go out for a quick hour and play golf.
Yeah, I think that where we're not firing on all 8 cylinders is not only the marketing of the course, but also the enhancement of visiting the course, not just the round of golf, but to promote the conviviality, so to speak, of the players and gathering to discuss the round, little kind of bullshit sessions that normally take place afterwards, because now it's sort of like, okay, we finished the round. Now let's take the bags off the cart, put them in the car and head home or whatever. Like hit the ball and go. So my thinking is that we perhaps recommend that the golf course committee sit down with the operating company and kind of see what an open discussion might lead to.
Yeah.
Do you all agree?
I do.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see, the only other.
So the other item that was on our agenda that we haven't touched yet, I don't know if it's time to touch it or not, is the activity pertinent to the long-range plan that was published in 2019.
Okay.
And I don't have an electronic copy of that.
I don't.
But irrigation was one of the items in that.
Well, the irrigation. I was under the opinion that they were doing a couple of test borings, which I haven't seen any actual results on. Does anybody know if those were actually conducted?
I don't know.
No.
Well, I think, again, if we're going to sit down and have a meeting with the operator, we ought to find out where we stand on that also. Because that actually, I believe, was to be, the testing was going to be handled and scheduled by them. Does anybody think it was any different than that?
I have no other information. Everything I know about it came out of our last meeting.
Right. Okay. So I think that what we need to do is we can submit what we've talked about today, but what we need to do is see about scheduling, which I will, see what I can do to have a separate meeting specifically with the operator and to discuss with them where we stand on the test borings, if we have any results, or even if it was conducted, to set up, to move forward on an irrigation plan for the course, and also to review with them that Article 7, which is to promote the course through advertising and hopefully attract additional customers to join the course or play at the course.
Sounds good to me. And I don't know if you want to try to combine that meeting with the contractual December report out of the operator to the town on things like 7.3. Fine with me if they're separate.
I think that what I can try and do is see if we can schedule a meeting for December and have them specifically attend and discuss it at that time, which would still get us prior to the end, having that discussion prior to the end of the current contract.
Makes sense to me. Should we shoot for our semi-normal meeting time, the second Wednesday?
Yeah, because that'll get us ahead of the holiday. What's your thoughts, Jay? How's your calendar look in that period?
Depends on the day. I can try to move stuff around.
Does that the second Wednesday have a current conflict for you?
Of December.
Yeah.
Let's see. Second Wednesday is the 14th.
Actually, it does for me. I'll be out of town.
Is that the 15th?
It's the 8th.
Of the 8th. Hold on. I have literally an all-day meeting from 9 to 4.
How's the 15th?
15th, I have nothing on my calendar right now on that day at all.
Yeah, I'm good on the 15th also.
Okay, so why don't we schedule a meeting? Want to do a 9 a.m. one
That
again?
works.
Yep.
Okay.
On my calendar now.
Then for the 15th at 9 a.m. And I don't know if we're still going to be on a remote basis or not.
I like the remote much better.
Well, I have
things that always bump right up in between, and just that, even though it's only a 6-minute drive, I can't schedule anything for half hour before or after.
Gotcha. Okay, I was only thinking in terms of having, if we're going to have the management company join us, hopefully, whether that was better to do in person or by remote.
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
I mean, remote's much easier. Remote is 1,000 times easier for me. If they just dial in, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that too.
Okay. Okay. So why don't we plan on that? And in the meantime, what I'll do is through Mark Purple, have him contact the management company and see if they can have some people available to join us on that date. Okay, any other items that anyone feels we should bring up?
No, I think that's good for me.
Ira?
I agree. I'm sorry. I'm just taking notes at the same time. No, I'm good with all of that. I will write it up and send off a draft. Today's Wednesday, on the weekend.
Okay, great.
Before, if I can.
Okay, well, I mean, certainly do it at your convenience if you got a busy schedule. All right. I guess I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting, and it's at what, 20 off?
Yep.
And Jay, I make sure that you are out and available for your 10 o'clock.
Thank you. I'm actually, I just got to call somebody before my 10 o'clock. So,
Okay.
So,
All right.
awesome.
All right.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Stay well.